Hey guys, it's Leanne, founder of Sisterhood Live, a live event for female entrepreneurs taking place in Rhode Island, April 19th to the 21st. And we are doing a fun little interview series with all of our phenomenal, incredible, wonderful women that are going to join us on stage at the event. So today we have for you the fabulous Miss Petra Monaco from petramonaco.com. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm so excited you're coming to Rhode Island. I have a major girl crush on you. So excited. So excited. So to jump right in, tell us a little bit about your history and your past and your sort of journey through entrepreneurship and sort of what's brought you, how you got here to the point that you're at with your business.
Well, you're asking to make me a long story short.
You can take whatever time you need or just a little snippet.
Yeah. So I didn't really know that I was an entrepreneur until just a few years ago. I grew up in foster care and struggled through childhood and adolescence and moved continents from Germany to the States, not knowing the language or the culture, but always showing up, following my heart.
Yeah.
But I struggled through the process. Self-destruction, alcohol was sort of my vice for a while. And I had my first initial of when I had my first DUI when I was 23, my first and only, I should say. It was just like, oh, what are you doing? And sort of realized that I was not showing up as me, as the person that I am, because I was literally catering to everybody else in my world. Yeah. My ex-husband, my kids, like everybody came first and I came last. And I didn't realize how impactful the messages I had growing up, how they really influenced my thinking and my mindset and what I was doing every day. And I just kind of started having enough slowly but surely, and, went to college, dropped out because I was homeless. Like there was a bunch of stuff that happened. And then I was like, this needs to end. I just want to provide a good life for my children. Yeah. And that sort of was my start. And I eventually earned a degree in accounting. And I'm like, oh, this is it. This is going to bring me the money and the happiness and the peace and the whole 9 yards. It didn't. And in 2003, I became a mother again of Lennon, who would teach me more than I could probably ever express in words. For the first 4 years of his life, I knew intuitively something was off. He was not a normal baby in the reference of sleeping and health and everything else. He was nonverbal and a bunch of other stuff that happened. And when he was 4, we found out that he had this really rare genetic disorder that potentially is fatal. And I was like, this is it. This is my rock bottom. This is my, what are you doing with your life moment? It's time to become who you are and who you're supposed to be. And I enrolled in college again and earned my master's degree in counseling. Literally just finished one just to start another, and became a therapist through this journey. And a year later, we opted for a liver transplant, and that spiraled into another whole crazy amount of stuff of when will this end kind of a moment. Mm-hmm. And always having to make decisions for him, but also for our family. And once he had 3 liver transplants altogether. And in 2011, I finally became a therapist that I studied to be, and worked in that world. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm healing all the foster kids of the world. I'm a big dreamer. So there's that.
All the foster kids.
All the foster kids. We all deserve love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But then I became more aware of me, my own journey, my own stories. Again, over and over again, I realized, because my dad preferred alcohol, this is how I saw myself. It sort of correlated some of the stories I was telling myself and decided to rewrite them. And I don't know if you remember when we first connected, I used to say I'm a foster kid reject.
I do remember that, actually.
And something flipped the switch. I'm a
Yeah.
foster kid success.
Yes.
It's the
You are,
rewriting of the stories that we tell ourselves that creates the impact. And I decided to become an entrepreneur because simply I don't fit in the box of corporate and nonprofits. Like, I just don't fit into that world. And I didn't know.
Neither do I. Neither do I.
I didn't know I didn't fit into that world. I thought I had to mold myself to fit into that box, and I just couldn't do it. Like, there was always something tugging and pulling and stringing.
Yes.
And I was like, "Is it? I'm a life coach." And that was that. And I balanced working full time and building my business for a while until I became too loud. And my boss says, "We no longer have room for you." And I got fired. And I was like, well, this is it. And so I was a full-time entrepreneur. But I'm not just a coach. Like, mindset and accountability is my jam. But I'm also an artist. I create art because I can and I want to, and it drives me. I build websites for fun periodically because I can, and I
totally.
And I help people just get started, to get out of their head and rewrite their own stories, because that's the premise of mindset work, is to rewrite what you're thinking so that you can.
Yeah, I love that. You have always been an inspiration to me ever since I saw your very first post, your very first story, and you have always intrigued me. And that's why I was so excited when I saw your application come through, because I was like hands down, this girl has to be there, because I think you are such an inspiration to women. Really to anybody, to all of us, honestly. It's not even women. I think that you're absolutely an inspiration for everybody. So tell me a little bit about how you help your clients and sort of what you do on a daily basis.
Well,
a little bit of everything, I know, but
well, I to start with, I structure my week according to my ideal week. How do I want to show up this week? What do I want to do this week? So, and it can look very different from week to week. You know, maybe one week I want to do more art, and one week I want to have more clients. Though I work with clients 3 days a week, so I have room to do all these other things because I am a multi-passionate, and I have to have space for that.
Yeah.
And I have a family, and I want to spend time with them. So this whole working 7 days a week thing doesn't always work for me. Sometimes I tend to work 7 days a week, but not necessarily because I have to, because I'm in the flow of my inspiration. And how I work with my clients is in conversation. It's through conversation where we become aware of what is holding us back. And through conversation, we rewrite the stories. Of course, they'll have homework and assignments and different things and goal setting of what they will achieve. But it's really the conversation that dives into, you know, what's holding you back from taking that next step, from showing up the way you want to show up. And generally, it's really just back to your messaging, the stories you've been told growing up that you've carried into the now. That you need to rewrite. And we do that by talking to each other. Yeah.
I'm a huge talker in processing. Like I sometimes I personally like to write, I guess, like type things out, but for the most part, in any of the coaches that I've had, I make the most progress when I'm just on the phone talking to them about it. And I just that's how I process it, and then I can move on from there.
I talk to the trees. I talk to the trees in my backyard.
Yeah, I talk a lot. Nothing all the time.
I mean, I'm a big writer. I write a lot too, and I journal quite often. But when I really have to let it go, I step outside on my porch. I live on 2 acres where I can just kind of talk to the trees. Nobody can hear me.
Yeah.
And I just kind of let it go. But it's through releasing it through the words where we can acknowledge it, because it's so important that we acknowledge what's holding us back, and then verbalize how we can transform that.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. So I think maybe we've covered a little bit of it, but what should we be expecting from you on stage in April? I actually really like your, whatever it was you just said, I can't remember, rewriting your story, actually.
Yeah, I will be talking about that for sure, because it correlates exactly with what I've done in my own life, and that's how I help my clients. Is because up until my son got sick, I was a reject, I was a failure, and then when he came along and in his journey, I was like, oh my God, I am not those things. I am a success story. I am smart. I'm incredibly brilliant. And I don't always give myself credit. And I think we all do that, especially women. We don't give ourselves enough credit for the things that we have achieved. Motherhood, for example, and even just some of the small things, graduating high school can be a big deal for some of us.
Yeah.
So that will be totally part of it, and how that influences your mindset and your vision in the long run.
Yeah, I love it. I cannot wait. I can't wait for your talk. So our last question, our little signature question is, I think I already know the answer to this one, but who is one person who's had the biggest impact on your life so far?
If I said Lennon, everybody would think John Lennon, but it's my son, Lennon, who is named after that amazing dude.
Yeah.
Because he shows me every single day that no matter what you go through, life can be awesome. He's been through the ringer medically in a lot of other ways, and he shows up singing and happy and living in the moment every single day. And I sometimes aspire to be him.
Oh, I love that. What a good mommy. That's so sweet. I love that. I'll have to see some pictures of him.
There? Yeah, you totally can.
To go stalk some pictures of your little cutie, who's not little, who's 13 now. But
yes. He's not little anymore.
Not little anymore. Well, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for taking the time to give us a little hint of what we're going to see. I cannot wait to see you talk at Sisterhood Live. And I hope you have a fabulous day.
Well, I'm excited to be there. I love road trips, so I'm actually driving up. So
nice. Yeah, it's really not that far, really.
Just 10 hours.
Yeah, it's totally doable. All right. Well, we will see you very soon, a couple short weeks, in Rhode Island. So thank you so much, Petra.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.